Okay, there we go. All right, all right. Welcome, everyone. This is Emmanuel Bernstein here in Houston, Texas. Welcome to our success tips here today with iboomerang. Gives me great pleasure, great honor to be on the call here with you all today as your featured guest speaker here today. As I'm getting all queued up here, I thought I had a little difficulties there with my with my video, but it looks like we're okay. Hopefully everybody can see me okay. I think we've got this call bridged over on Facebook Live as well. So if you want to send me some chats, let me know you can see me okay on Zoom here. Let me know where you're calling in from. I see Cleveland, Ohio, San Francisco, California. You got Dallas, Texas. Australia's in the house. Naples. All right. Germany's in the house. Good deal. New York is in the house. New York. Canada's in the house. Belize. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. All right, folks. We're definitely excited to be on the line here with you. What I'm going to be doing here on this call today is doing a little bit of conversations with you today, and just some of the things that you can do, and as far as success tips are concerned, and just some of the concepts that I've been able to use along the way in my journey here in the network marketing industry. And I'll tell you a little bit more about my story here in just a little bit. But first things first, I certainly want to let all of you all know that if you do have any questions today here, feel free to go ahead and type them on Facebook in the chat, or type them here on Zoom in the chat. And my assistant here from corporate will certainly be helping me out in getting those questions over to me, and I'll take as many of those questions as time permits here on the call here today. So like I said earlier, it's just certainly an honor. It's certainly a privilege to be on this platform here as one of your diamond ambassadors. So I want to give it up definitely to our CEO, our chairman of the board, the founder of this company, Mr. Houghton and Erling Buggs, for just giving us this particular platform and this great vehicle that's going to create legacy incomes for us for generations to come. So I'm excited about the journey with them. I'm excited to be on the platform with them, and that I was invited to the round table, so to speak. So appreciate them, as well as our GMA, Mr. Edwin Haynes and Andrea Haynes, just serving leaders around the world. And they've always been that way ever since I've met them as well. Just great individuals to know. So I appreciate them again for being the example of what we should be doing right now to build this company and take this company and brand this company as our own company here to go into the future. Also, too, it's Memorial Day. So I certainly want to say happy Memorial Day to everyone out there. Thank you to all the men and the women that have served this country, to fight for our freedom. We certainly appreciate those that have lost their lives, and those that are currently, again, in the armed forces, doing what they're doing to protect us and to protect our freedoms. We certainly appreciate them, and we should celebrate them and honor them today. And we know we have some, veterans here in our company as well. We salute you. Okay. We salute you today. We honor you today. This is your day. And definitely we appreciate all that you certainly have done for us for our freedoms. I call them freedom fighters, and that's what we're in this industry for, is to be freedom fighters. I got involved in this industry 25 years ago. It just seems like yesterday, folks, because it's been so much fun. It's been a total lifestyle change, a total lifestyle upgrade for me and my family, and all the folks that we've had a small part to play in their lives. It's been a great journey. And I can simply tell you, folks, we've treated it like a profession. We've treated it like a career. It's the longest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Even though I was in corporate America for a small fraction of the time, I was only there for about, I think, maybe 4 years, 6 years, or whatever it was. But this is the longest thing I've ever done. And they say when you fall in love with what it is that you do, you'll never work another day in your life. And that is so true. That is so true. I never feel like it is work. It's always something that I love. I'm very passionate about it. And I think you certainly, want to find your passion and find your purpose. And then you will be able to receive the profits, from this great industry. So that's a book that I wrote, or I was a co-author in a book called Purpose, Passion, and Profits. And I talked about some of those things in that particular book. And just so excited about, the journey. And I guess one of the tips that I can kind of talk with you all about today is the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that very first step. Okay. But that very first step, it's not on the outside. That very, very first step is really on the inside. Okay. This is, an internal journey more so than anything. This is a self-transformation of yourself, a mastery of yourself when you get involved in this industry. And I know many people have been involved in this industry on this line that are watching here today. And this call is going to go all over the world because it's morning in some places, it's afternoon in some places, and it's evening in some places. So people are going to be watching this, throughout. But, I say that this is about self-mastery. Okay. This is about mastering yourself, mastering your mind. And I know that, one of the things that I'll share with you is really when you think about being successful in this industry and in this company, one of the things that you really want to ask yourself the question is, what is it that you really, really, really want? What is it that you really, really, really want? Okay. And define that. Okay. You have to have a definitive purpose in this business. You have to have a definitive purpose in life. And you want to define that to the T. So what is it that you really, really, really want? Okay. And I call that your why, WHY. What is that why? And they say you have to have a why that's so big that it brings tears to your eyes. They say that you have to have a why that's so strong that you'll run through a brick wall in order to get it. And sometimes when you see people that get involved in this industry, they already have a good life and they can never figure out that why. And I always share with them is never let a good life spoil a great life. Define what that why is. Put something together that you can feel you're fighting for. That you can feel that you're fighting for. So when you look at that word why, WHY, what that means to me is what's hurting you. Or it means what's holding you back. So every time you think about that, it brings in an emotional feeling in your body. It brings an emotional spark into your body. It brings an emotional chill to your body because this is something that you're so consumed with when you think about it, that it brings tears to your eyes, that it brings an emotion to your body. Okay. That's what your why is. And you want to hone in on that. So what is it that you want, really, really want from this opportunity of ibüümerang? And hopefully all of you already know that. And hopefully you've revisited that already and you set your goals for this particular month. But now this is the last week of the month. You certainly want to be going back and revisiting that because this is the time where you want to propel yourself into what we call as activity mode. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that here today. But if you do have some questions on anything today that you've been dealing with in the business or that you have questions within the business, go ahead and type those in the chat box. Type them in the chat box here on Zoom. Type them in the chat box there on Facebook. And I'll try to get to some of these questions here. I'll get them sent over to me here in just a moment, and we'll start talking about that. But after you define what it is that you want, you got to ask yourself the question, why is it that you really want it? Why? Why is it that you really want that? Why is it that you really want what it is that you say you want? And then ask yourself the question, what kind of feelings do you have when you think about that? What kind of feelings do you have? Because see, it's the feelings that you have that puts you into that mode where you're going to actually be unstoppable, undeniable in your pursuit for success. So why is it that you want that? And when you think about it, how does it make you feel? And from there, ladies and gentlemen, what that will make you do is will make you stretch outside of your comfort zone. See, they say in this business, if you stay in your comfort zone, that's your broke zone. Everything you want, everything you wish for, everything you're praying for is outside your comfort zone. And it's just an arm reach away. So you have to stretch yourself right now. Especially right now, during the last week of this month, we have so many great things that are on the table right now for you to finish off your goals, so you can finish off your dreams, so you can finish off whatever it is you said you were going to finish off. This is the time right now to really, really get after it. But when you stretch, ladies and gentlemen, what it does is that puts you in your growth mode. This is where the growth happens, when you stretch for success. When you stretch for success. So I believe that on this journey, on this internal journey, it's desire that you have to have. It's belief that you have to have. It's faith that you have to have. It's determination that you also have to have. Desire and determination, to me, are really the keys to success. There's so many keys to success, but desire and determination are really the keys. Desire and determination. What are those things that you feel like you need? And then when you multiply your needs times faith, that's what gives you the motivation to go out and do the activity, to the point where you don't even feel like you're doing the activity. You don't even feel like you're putting in sweat equity. You don't even feel like you're putting in the work. You're just out doing it. It's second nature, because you put your needs and you multiply it times your faith. And now you're motivated to do whatever it takes in order to get it. And it puts you in that mode, like I said earlier, to make you stretch. So every day here for the last week of this month, it's go time. It's stretch time. It's growth time. This is the time where you want to put your activity at an all-time high, because it's the activities that yields the results. I call it the ABCs. Activity brings compensation. ABCs. Activity brings compensation. So you want to get caught up in the activity of what it takes. But before you even get to that part, one thing I'm going to share with you here, ladies and gentlemen, that I know that really makes a big difference is when you're thinking about what it is that you want. And when you think about why it is that you want it. And when you think about how it makes you feel, at the same time, you want to have an attitude of gratitude. You want to be grateful for what it is. Even though you're going to be in pursuit for something different and something better, there's nothing wrong with that. But also you want to figure out, what is it that you currently are grateful for right now? What is it that you already have in your life right now that you're grateful for? And again, that goes back to how you feel. Because when you talk about being grateful for things, it just makes you happy, makes you smile, puts joy in your heart, love. I mean, these are all the things about gratefulness. So what is it that you're grateful for? That's one of the first things every day that you should do, is to chart down or write down what it is that you're grateful for. 3 to 5 things is good enough. I mean, there's many things that you can be grateful for, but just really hone in on that. And what that should do is make you feel good about where you are, but then at the same time, where you're going. Where you are and where you're going. See, we all are human beings, but we are really humans becoming better than what we are right now. That's what growth is all about. So here it is, be grateful. And whatever it is that you're grateful for, turn around and share that with other people right now. Because in the times that we're in right now today, I mean, it's Some people can say it's doom and gloom for a lot of people out there. Not an iboomerang. We're fired up and excited because guess what? We have so much to be grateful for in this company. Grateful for our leadership, grateful for this company, grateful for this system, grateful for the product that we have, grateful for the compensation plan that we have, grateful for our teams, grateful for everything. But turn around and pay that forward. Turn around and pay that forward right now. Who can you align yourself with right now for the rest of this month that you can lock arms with? And show them how to hone in on some of the things I'm talking about right now today. So when you can talk about being grateful, then now guess what? Now we can talk about what activities you need to have on a daily basis. Especially now when you talk about finishing off this month. I know we have the stimulus package out there. We got to double down right now with what Mr. Bucks put out there, $2 million of cash flow above and beyond the compensation plan. That's on the table. Giving it away right now. Have our own economic stimulus package. That's what we should be grateful for, right? And grateful that we have people within the organization that want to go out and get it, that want to go out and be hungry. Les Brown always says, you got to be hungry right now. You got to want to go out and get it. The vault is open. So when you talk about activity right now, every day this week, we're in the gold zone. And let me just kind of share with you some of the things. The gold zone is my favorite time of the month, actually. It's the last 10 days of the month from the 20th through the 31st, or from the 21st through the 31st. It's the favorite time of the month. And the reason is because, again, you've got people running for success. You got people running for their dreams. You got people running for their goals. You got people running for their whys. So here it is. When you look at the gold zone, here's how to capitalize on the gold zone. We call this the massive volume zone. And we've seen in the last 10 days of the month, there's people that have put up more business in the last 10 days of the month than they've put up in the first 20 days of the month. So if you're looking at your goals and you're like, hey, I'm off right now, I'm not even close, guess what? Yeah, you are. It's all right here in your mind. It's the internal dialogue that you're giving yourself and the thoughts that you're actually evoking in your mind right now. That's going to propel you to the point where now you can get into activity mode and go out and get what it is that you want. And the universe is going to deliver that to you. So when you look at this opportunity, we know what it is that you want. We know why you want it. We know what it is you're thankful and grateful for right now. Now we need to say, okay, great. Here's my goal. Here's the activity that it takes right now for me to achieve that goal. So all I want to do in the last 7 days of this month is I want to increase my activities and collapse the time frame. You may want to write that one down. Increase your activities and collapse the time frame. That means Mr. Bug said double down. That means if you were doing one presentation a day, now you want to get to 2 presentations a day. If you were doing 2 presentations a day, now you want to get to 4 presentations a day. If you were doing 4 presentations a day, now you want to be at 8 presentations a day. I call it AOMA, all out massive action to achieve your goals, to achieve your why. So first it takes right now is you really want to ask yourself the question, how many people am I contacting on a daily basis? How many people am I contacting on a daily basis? Because contacting and inviting is where it all starts. Contacting and inviting is where it all starts. So you have to say, okay, great. Now here's where I'm going. Here's where I currently am right now. And here's what it's going to take. How many people I need to contact every single day. And whatever it is that you do as a leader is going to echo in eternity. So if you start the process, what happens is now it duplicates to your organization. So I always ask myself the question, would I want to be sponsored by me? If I'm doing the work that I think a Triple Crown Diamond ambassador should be doing, then I want to be sponsored by me. So always ask yourself that question. This is not relaxed time. This is go time. It's the go zone. So when you're in the go zone, one thing to help you increase that volume, of course, is checking through your entire database, making sure that everybody in your group has got their subscriptions, making sure everybody in your group that's not at first class, make sure, guess what, they understand the value of their subscription, that they understand the value of being at first class, explaining the value to them. That's a great way. Both of those ways are great to actually increase your volume for the last few days of the month. And then the other thing is making sure that you will use a concept called leveraging. Wealthy people use a concept called leverage. Here in ibüümerang, leverage, depth charge, where now you can take someone that you get involved in the company and say, hey, listen, before we get this person started, I'm going to follow up with some of the people that I've already presented this information to, let them know that I've got a person coming in at first class, and before they join, they may want to get started before this first class person, because the first class person is going to go diamond. And as a result, they can miss out on a lot of business. So you can leverage that new recruit that's coming into the game, that new first class person that's coming into the game. You can leverage that person by making sure you dial for dollars and let everybody know that before this person gets started, you may want to get in the system before this person does, so that you can override that business. And that might mean you may get 5 or 10 new pieces of business in before that person, and that might be just enough to make you the newest sapphire, or it might be just enough to make you the newest ruby. It might be just enough to make you the newest emerald, or the newest diamond, or the newest blue diamond, or the newest black diamond, or beyond. These are all different ways of how you can actually increase the volume during the go zone. Tons of stories out there of how people have actually, maybe had $1,000 in volume for the whole 2/3 of the month. And then the last few days of the month, they did over $14,000, $15,000 in volume. Why? Because it was just a mental shift. It was just a mental shift. That journey of 1,000 miles began right inside of you. Take that first step inside of you, in your mind. So you got to have that mindset that I must get this done. I am not going to be denied. I am going to win. I am going to achieve success. I am a champion. You got to have that mindset that you are the warrior, that you are the freedom fighter. That's the mindset that you have to have. Remember, I said you got to have need times faith equals motivation. So when you understand right now that that's a way that you can hit these positions that you're trying to hit, you also want to ask yourself the question, okay, who must I serve in my group? Because they say service to many leads to greatness. Service to many leads to greatness. So right now, check and do some inventory in your group and see who in your organization is right now on the verge of going director. It's another way to increase your volume. Who in your group is on the verge of getting promoted to senior director or to executive director? It's another way to increase your volume. And align yourself with those individuals. Say, hey, let's get it done for you. We are not going to stop fighting until we get it done for you. We're going to take the governor off on how we think right now. We're going to take all excuses and eliminate them right now. Yes, today is the 25th of the month, but guess what? Don't use that as an excuse. Use that as your motivating reasons on why you're going to go out and achieve success right now. So take an inventory in your group and ask yourself the question right now is how many people in your group right now do you need to hit director? How many people in your group right now do you need in your group to hit senior director? And let's look through your group. Let's draw out your circles and let's figure out exactly what you do. Whatever it is you need, let's draw out your circles. We have it already here in our book. Already here in our book, in our calendar, in our monthly achiever, in our monthly calculator. We've got a page on there of where you can draw out your entire group. Where you can draw out your entire group right now. And when you draw out your entire group right now, you'll see, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I'm closer than I thought. I'm closer than I thought, okay? I'm closer than I thought. So draw out your group and figure out, okay, who in my group right now is trying to run for success right now? Because all you're trying to do is identify your next leaders, your next winners, your next champions. See, when you can identify, you can multiply. So identify who in your group right now is running for director. Let's say you're running for Sapphire right now. And we know that Sapphire is the mark. So let's say you don't want to make 15,000, your maximum, you want to make that your minimum. Shoot actually always for more. When setting a goal, shoot for the moon. And if you don't make it, at least you'll land amongst the stars. So shoot for 20,000. So if you need $20,000 to hit Sapphire right now, as an example, then how many senior directors does that take? Senior directors easily do over $5,000 in business volume. That just means you need 4 senior directors. Or let's say you have directors right now in position to get promoted. How many directors do you need to hit Sapphire? Well, senior directors is $2,500 in volume. So that just simply means, guess what? Now, all I need to do is identify 8 potential runners, 8 potential leaders, 8 potential visionaries, 8 potential champions, 8 potential winners, 8 potential future Sapphires right now in my group that I can run with. So that they can what? Hit that pin position. Mr. Bugs has a promotion on the table called the It Takes Two. We have a promotion called the U+2. Who is in line in your group right now to crush it? Who's in line with your group right now, within your group, to 10x their growth right now? And the last thing I'm going to share with you is this, and then I'll open it up for some questions. As you've identified those individuals, ladies and gentlemen, then I love to always do something called plan, do, review. Plan, do, review. So what I do at that point is after I identify them, then now what you need to do is you need to figure out from a plan of attack now what me and that person is going to do for the next 7 days. And what we'll do is we'll plan out the first day. Here's going to be our activity that we need to have today. And I always remember this: 5 and 1,000, 5 and 1,000, 5 and 1,000 is a part of our system, folks. What does that mean for you new people that are out there? Every 5 set of eyeballs that you put on this presentation from a Zoom link that we do every single day, multiple times a day, or from an I Decide presentation, every 5 people that you get to share the plan with, you're going to get one of them at a minimum to be your business partner. You're going to get one of them to be an ambassador. You're going to get at least one of them that becomes a first-class individual. So we only have 2 focal points. Is I want to get every 5 people looking at this opportunity, and from everybody, every 5 that's looking at the opportunity, I want to generate over $1,000 in business volume. 5 and 1,000. 5 and 1,000. That has to become a mantra for you right now. 5 and 1,000. It has to become a focal point for you right now. Whatever you focus on grows. So right now, if you know right now the number, you can grow the number. So plan out that day. Plan out the activity that it's going to take on a daily basis of how many people I need to contact today, how many people I need to follow up with today, how many presentations I need to do today, how many presentations I need to do for the people that are trying to win today. And then guess what? You take it a step further. You go ahead and get the activity done. And here's the activity: contacting and inviting, following up, presenting, closing. There's only 4 things that you have to do: contacting and inviting, following up, presenting, and closing. And you repeat that process over and over and over again to the point it becomes just like a muscle. Repetition is the mother of success. And here's what they say: there's some skill sets you will have to learn. But if you ever heard Jim Rohn, one of the greatest motivational gurus out there in the world, he says, whatever it is you lack in skill, you can make up in activity. That's why we have the double down promotion. Mr. Buck said, hey, double down. Go double down. What you lack in skill, you can make up an activity. So here it is. What that means is, guess what? Go double your exposures. Go double your amount of followers. Go double your amount of presentations. Go double the amount of people you're closing out on a daily basis. That's the activity on a day-by-day basis. And then the last thing you do before you go to bed at night is you review your successes. You chart out the success that you had today, the success in activity. How much business volume did you put in today? How much closer are you now to achieving that goal? How much closer are you now achieving success? How much closer are you now with hitting the mark? How much closer are you now to achieving the rank? And guess what? Be grateful. Because if you're grateful, now you can be happy. I am that much closer. And guess what? You always have to be happy. Just write down, I am happy and grateful. I am happy and grateful. I am happy and grateful. That's all you have to do is keep telling yourself. You got to be happy in spite of your good days and your bad days. That's the only way the universe rewards you. So remind yourself, I'm happy. Today I did this much, I'm happy. That way, guess what? It allows you now to get ready for the next day. So now never go to sleep without reviewing your successes from today, and never go to sleep without preparing for your successes for tomorrow. So plan, do, review, plan, do, review, plan, do, review. So what I will do is, let me pause for a second. Let me see. Okay, all right. So here it is. I'm going to address a few questions here. All right. Yes, here's a great question here. Question number 1 says, what was the driving force that compelled your success to where you are now? Well, it was gratitude number one. Okay. It was gratitude number one. I was always grateful for the things that have happened in my life. You know, my mom passed when I was 10 years old from cancer. It was very tough. But my family, my siblings, and my dad raised 4 kids as a single parent, and he got all of us together, and we took care of each other. And you know, I was the only one that went to school and that graduated from college, and all 3 of my siblings were all single parents. And I said, you know what? They took care of me when I was a young kid, and one day I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna take care of them. And when I got involved in this industry, I said, you know what? I got it. I got an opportunity right now that they can participate in with me as a family. They couldn't participate with me on my job because you had to have a degree, right? To get in that company and work in that company and make the kind of money I was making. I said, but you know what? Everybody can get involved in this industry. And guess what? They've joined me. They've joined me in every company that I've been in. Okay. So that was my motivating reasons to getting started in this industry. But along the way, guess what? That why continued to enhance itself and even bring in more things that I was also shooting for, which is the fact that I had a son. And I said, you know what? Even though my dad did as best as he could, right? Raising 4 kids, traveling all over the world to try to put food on our table, he wasn't there for my sporting events. And I'm just a big sports guy, right? And I think he may only came to like 1 or 2 of my games. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I don't miss anything when it pertains to my son, that if he has something going on at school, I'm there. If he's got something going on after school, I'm there. If he's got extracurricular activity going on, I'm there. And I always said, you know what? I'm going to fight like heck when I build this business. I'm going to work like heck. And I'm going to treat this as if this is a job, so that guess what? I'm going to work hard like heck, and I'm going to keep myself accountable so that one day I can join the NBA. And the NBA is called the No Bosses Association. And one day I joined the NBA. And that was 23 years ago. And after that, I've never missed anything that my son had going on. Never. I'm the only dad from the time he started school that was at every event at school, that was at every lunch at school, the only dad. Usually you see ladies there, but I was the only dad. And I said, that's why I'm doing this business. I don't want him to have to ever worry about punching a clock for anybody, having somebody dictate what he's worth, having somebody tell him what he can and cannot do, having somebody tell him where he can and cannot go. That's like being a child, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to do what it takes now to be able to provide a lifestyle for him. And he can do what he wanted at that point. So those were my compelling reasons. Great question. How did you overcome objections and your own personal internal struggles? Another great question. You know, I learned how to overcome those objections from trial and error. Okay. And of course, from going to events and going to trainings, and picking up little bits and pieces from, the people that had the results that I was looking for. Okay. So I always learned how to get through the objections, and you have to have posture. Number one, first of all, I've always been maybe direct and not passive when it pertains to this opportunity, because I know every time that I present this opportunity, I'm giving it my best. And that's what you have to know. Every time you give this presentation, you are giving that person your best. And because you gave that person your best, they owe you a decision. Now, does that mean they have to join you? No, but they at least owe you a decision. And anytime someone gives you objections, all it is just a put off for saying no. Just tell me no right now. That way we can leave all the guesswork out. You've made your decision and I've made my decision, and we can move on, and we can still be friends. We can still be family members. We're cool with that. Nothing changes. So I'm always upfront and direct and let them know that. Because the last thing I want to do is waste their time and mine, because my time is valuable. So my question for you all today, and I want you to write this down, is how much time, or how much is your time worth? How much is 1 hour your time worth? How much is 1 hour your time worth? Jot that down on a paper, put that in your mind, and that way the next time you present to someone, guess what? You can always understand that this is what my time is worth, and I don't have time for games. I don't have time for excuses. I'm on a mission to change my life and to change the lives of other people for generations to come. You could come on this journey with me, or you can sit back and be a spectator in the game of life. Which one do you want to be? So that comes with having posture. And the way I look at all of this, folks, is just all practice. We've got billions of people out there to practice with. So when I overcame those objections, did they always work? Did the person always join? No. But I gave them everything I had. They say you can never give the right presentation to the wrong person. You can never give the wrong presentation to the right person. You just have to give the presentation. You can never give the opportunity to the wrong person. You can never give the right opportunity to the, you can never give the wrong opportunity to the right person, and you can't give the right opportunity to the wrong person. You just have to give them the opportunity. So have posture. So have posture. And how did I overcome my own personal internal struggles? Well, those are paradigms that we have, that we've grown up with from our influencers, from our family members, from our religious obligations in the community. Those are paradigms where people have shaped you and put limitations on you. So the only way to lift off those limitations are the books you read, the audios you listen to, and the videos you watch. So you always want to have 3 libraries. What books are you reading? What videos are you watching? And what audios are you listening to? Because guess what? That internal dialogue is always there, but you got to drown it out. You have to reprogram your computer of your mind. And this is how you do it. The books you listen to, the audios, okay, that you listen to, the books you read, the audios you listen to, and the videos that you watch. That's how you deal with your internal struggles. Do you ask someone to join as an ambassador at the same time you ask to be a vibe rider or driver? I don't know how to push the script without sounding pushy. Okay. Well, that's a great question. I'm going to go right back to what I just mentioned a moment ago. Is never feel like you're too pushy. Okay. Never feel like you're too pushy. Feel like you have the best opportunity on the planet. You have something of value that you're giving them that they can't get anywhere else. So have a posture. Now, don't say this or do this. Have a posture that you don't need them, they need you. Because you already have an opportunity where you're going to talk to thousands of people right now after them, but you're giving them an opportunity before you do it. You're giving them an opportunity to join. That's the posture that you have to have. Now, should you go with the opportunity to buy a boomerang, or should you go with the vibe ride opportunity? It just depends. If it's a driver and they only want to drive, then give them the vibe opportunity to drive. Okay. If they want to be a driver and override other drivers, then give them the overdrive options. If they want to have the opportunity to be able to drive and promote the travel, then you give them the ibüümerang opportunity. But how do you know? as I said earlier, you can't give the wrong presentation or the wrong opportunity to the right person. You can't give the right presentation to the wrong person. You just have to give them the opportunity and let them make that decision. I learned something early in my career, and I'm going to give this to you all here today. And it changed my whole career in network marketing. I was struggling my first 2 years when I got involved in the industry. I was struggling. And I couldn't figure it out because I'm an introvert. Okay. I don't like talking to people. If you see me, I'm just a quiet person. Okay. Unless I get on stage, it just seems like something else is happening at that point. I can talk at that point. I guess that's because I can't see the audience. Okay. But I went to a mentor of mine, or he was a coach at that point. He was a coach of mine in my first company. And I see all these people having success and just nothing just really seemed to be making it happen for me like I really wanted it to. I mean, I was having a little bit of success, but not to the point that I wanted and felt like that I needed and deserved. And he told me something. He says, you know what? You have to act on impulse, and that'll make you money. He said, if you think, it'll cost you money. So if you always are trying to think about the best this, the best that, hey, you're costing yourself money. We've got a blueprint here. We got a system here that makes it so much easier. Trust me on that one. I only wish that ibüümerang was my first company 25 years ago. Okay. So we got a system of success. And if you work with your coaches and your mentors and you follow step by step and you let them pour into you, all the guesswork is gone. You don't even have to think. You just have to act. And guess what? They'll grab you by the hand and do it with you until you figure it out, until you feel comfortable. That's what I like. You don't have to do it by yourself. There's no I in the word team. Teamwork makes the dream work. Together, everybody achieves more. So you've got winners out there that you can align yourself with as long as you're willing to follow the blueprint, the success tips, the strategies. As long as you're willing to go to work harder for yourself than anything you've ever done before, guess what? You'll have monumental success here. And you won't even have to worry about the thinking part. At what point do you send the I decide? Do you have to get prospects to view a presentation prior to an I decide presentation? No, you don't. And that really just depends on your list. Okay, that really just depends on your list. I definitely would encourage you to get with, your upline mentors and coaches to figure out who you should send an I decide to and who you should send to a Zoom presentation. But what I will always share with you is if you put together your list, remember there's 3 things we do with a list. Number 1 is we create our list, then we grade our list using the 4-checker concept, and then we expose that list. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a training that's in our back office under the sections called tools. And it's a training on basic training that you'll figure that out with. And then there's also the cash cow training CD series that's also under tools in your back office. I encourage you to study both of those. Remember, I said you should have a library of what it is that you're watching, okay, on a daily basis. Well, I would be watching that. What is it that you're listening to? I would be listening to that cash cow audio, 4 CDs that is on that in the tool section there. 4 things that you can listen to. Listen to that, okay? And then videos, okay? Watch those trainings. Okay. And what you'll learn is that now you'll know from the way you graded your list, who's a 4-checker, who's a 3-checker, who's a 2-checker, who's a 1-checker. And then based off of those individuals, your coach and your mentor is going to tell you, okay, here's who we need to invite to a Zoom presentation for your private launch or for your team launch. And here's who you need to send an I decide link to. So I would make a connection as soon as possible as you get off this line right now today. If you're trying to run for your goals and your dreams right now, connect with your leadership right now and let them know this is a very, very important question. Who should I get on a Zoom and who should I actually get an I decide to? Okay, great question. Another question is, what are you currently reading and how has it inspired you to be the best you? Okay, well, I have a bunch of books that I read, but I just downloaded a brand new book right before this call and I've been listening to it. It's called Seduction by Robert Greene. Okay, Seduction by Robert Greene. And then from a physical book that I have Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill from a physical book that I'm actually reading right now. But as far as what I'm listening to, I just downloaded a book called Seduction by Robert Greene. And he also has a book out there called 48 Laws of Purpose. I think it's what his main book is, what he's known for, but just a great author. Definitely recommend that you download his series of things that he's put out there. Number 6, it says, do you push hard in the beginning of the month or in the month with a bang? You do it consistently throughout the whole month. And the way I work my month is the same exact way that, Martha Ermias works her month, and all the top leaders, I always set a goal for the end of the month and reverse engineer it to try to hit it by the 15th of the month. And that always keeps me working at the beginning of the month. And if I don't hit it by the 15th of the month, then it kicks me into another gear going through the second half of the month. So you always want to be consistently working. Now, to answer that question in part 2, here's how you work your month. Mr. Bucks has put this whole blueprint together. And if you follow this blueprint, your business is going to be like a cash cow. Okay. It's all system dependent, not people dependent. Okay. If you build your business based off of people, your business implodes. If you build it based off of systems, your business actually explodes. So he has in this book, okay, in this calendar, in this monthly achiever, in this calculator, you'll notice that it's got 3 different types of colors in it. Okay. And it has 3 different types of colors in it for a reason. So the first 10 days of the month is called the white zone. This is the zone that you really get out there and you start hitting your exposure numbers. Pick a number that you can consistently expose every single day for the first 10 days of the month. And what it does is it gives you a funnel of fresh prospects for that particular month. As an example, it might be 2 a day. Well, that's 20 new prospects in the first 10 days of the month that you've exposed to the opportunity, that you've contacted and invited for the opportunity. The second 10 days of the month is what we call as the blue zone. This is the follow-up zone of the month. This is where now, guess what? All the people that you've exposed that may not have made a decision to join, guess what? You can connect with them and get them around the baseball diamond. That's another whole training, around the baseball diamond, and get them exposed and introduced via a 3-way phone call with your upline coach, upline mentor. So you can use that 10 days of the month. And then the last 10 days of the month, you have what you call the go zone. And then this is just really, when you just go back through all of the people throughout the whole month and you start leveraging applications to move people without touching them. Sometimes fear of loss is the greatest motivator. And that's what you see being used during the go zone. So what am I saying? The whole month you're working. The whole month you're working. The whole month you're working. You want to become a sapphire in this company. You want to become a ruby in this company. You want to become an emerald in this company. You want to become a diamond in this company. Part of the system is to make sure you're showing the plan at least 4 times a week. That's once a day. 4 to 6 times a week, once a day, once a day, once a day, once a day, once a day. What does that mean? That means, guess what? You're working every single day. Okay. What activities should one take? What activities should one take to become a diamond? The one activity that one should take is believing. Is believing. Is believing that you are already a diamond. And get fixated on that. And whoever your upline diamond is, get on their radar. Whoever your upline diamond is, duplicate and emulate what they do. Whoever your upline diamond is, find out how they think. That's the most important thing, is how do they think? So if you want to become a diamond, learn how to think. I always tell people that if I can change the way you think, I can change the way you make money. And if I can change the way you make money, I can change the way you live your life. So it's all about what? A mental mind shift. Changing your paradigms, changing your belief in who you see yourself being and becoming. That's how you become a diamond. What's the most efficient way to gain new prospects? Well, you can't really get eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly with people right now. So the best way to gain prospects is most people have business cards. Most people have social media contacts. Most people have, Christmas card list or birthday list, things of that nature. You got a phone. Okay. Depends on how many people you have in your phone. I know that most people have, over a couple of hundred to a couple of thousand people in their phone. You can start right here, but you can't look at this as a phone. You have to look at this as your money-making machine. So how do I get motivated? Back in the early days when I was nervous and scared to get on the phone, I would tape $100 bill on the back of my phone and I would just say, it's money on the phone, it's money on the phone, it's money on the phone, it's money on the phone. And I would get pumped up and excited until I didn't see the phone anymore. I just saw money. And that propelled me to start making the calls, making the dials, making the calls, making the dials, making the calls. And I would write little phrases down, okay? There's money in the phone, dialing for dollars. There's money in the phone, dialing for dollars. All those little things that I would have to use to get my mind right, because again, those same little limiting beliefs or those same little voices that we have, I had them too. So I had to make a shift, just like that, like snapping your fingers. What's the most effective way to instill belief in a new team builder? Well, the best way to build a belief in new team members is to actually sit there and game plan with them. Whether you got a game plan with them over Zoom or whether you have to game plan with them over a phone call, and find out again some of the things that I talked about earlier. What is it that you want? What are your desires? What is it that we can define as your why? Let's find a definitive purpose of why you want to do this. So you game plan with them and you find out what that why is, what that desire is, what those needs are. And then you introduce them to something that they can read, something that they can listen to. The very first thing they should be listening to is the Cash Cow series. The Cash Cow series that's in your tools section. You can get them connected to that their very first day. Now that we got it back, yay, we've been waiting for this. The leaders know some of the leaders know what I'm talking about. We've been waiting for this. We couldn't wait to get the Cash Cow series back. Now it's back. Now it's back. So yes, promote that to your new team members so that you can instill the belief that they already are winners, so that you can instill the belief that they already are champions. They already are successful in their mind. Okay. So that's a good question. How do you help? Okay. How do you help team members who will not answer your calls and texts when you're trying to get them launched and working? Okay. That's another great question. That's another great question. Okay. And just go back to the point that I said, just know what your time is worth. Okay. Know what your time is worth. There's a saying out there that says some will, some won't. So what? Somebody else is waiting next. Okay. That's number one. Number two, again, part of our system is understanding your business. Okay. And history has shown in our business, if you go out and look at the 2020 program that's in the flight plan calendar, it will share with you that 1/3 of your business, 1/3 of the personal recruits that you actually sponsor will quit. They'll quit on you right away for whatever reason. We don't know. But that's 1/3 of your business right there. Another 1/3 of your business are going to be incubators, meaning that these are people that we thought were going to go out here and pull the trigger and go out and become diamonds in 24 hours. And guess what? They fall into the witness protection program, and it's okay. It's okay if they quit. That's not of my making. It's not of my doing, and nor is it yours. It's okay if they want to incubate. It's not of my making. It's not of my doing. It's okay. Okay. You've done your job. You followed up with them. You tried to launch them. You text them. You're getting no response. It's okay. Your focal point should be who right now is ready to engage and create the biggest success story that you can by launching that person. And if you create a great 7-day story and a great 30-day story with the person that is ready to run, then you can always go back to your incubator whenever you can get a hold of them. And you can always go back to your quitter whenever you can get a hold of them. And you can point to this person's success that ran with you right away. So never feel like you've done anything wrong, or never let your people make you feel like they're holding you hostage and that you're dependent on them to have success. No, that's why we say continue to what? Contact and invite new people. Continue to add to your list. Okay? Continue to add to your list on a day-by-day basis. Always, always, always. So if you've got a big contact list, if somebody says no to you, it doesn't hurt as much. If somebody joins your business and quits, it doesn't hurt as much. If somebody joins your business and they incubate, it doesn't hurt as much because you've got a huge contact list. Now, if you've got a small list, then that's where the challenge may come into play. And you counted on them so much. Never count on anybody other than you, because you can only control you. We can't control who says yes. We can't control who says no. All we can control is our own personal activity that we do on a day-by-day basis. But if you have the proper activity and stay consistent and persistent in the activity, then you'll have the results. That's why I say it's always about ABC. Activity brings compensation. It's always about your activity every single day in your pursuit for freedom. It's always about your daily actions. That's what it's all about. Another great question, though. How do you feel about working 2 MLM companies at the same time? Well, I laugh at that question. And I'll just tell you like this. I had somebody ask me that question maybe about a month ago, I think it was. And my answer then and now is I've never seen anybody win the Kentucky Derby riding 2 horses. You only need 1 horse to win the Kentucky Derby. I think you probably get that. Okay. If I go over here to Zoom. Okay, looks like we got the majority of them. How many boomerangs do you send out every day? I don't send out boomerangs every day. I do have boomerangs in my inventory, but I do actually have people that I go after in the business. And if they decide not to join the business, then that's when I send out a boomerang. Okay. So some people focus strictly on boomerangs. I have people in the organization that get out 15 boomerangs every day. And I'm like, how do you do that? But again, that's their focal point. They're not focusing on building an organization right now. They're focusing on building ibüümerangs. Building out a customer base through the customer acquisition model. And you can do either one or you could do both. Okay. So hopefully I answered that question. Great question. But there's no limit. The only limit that you have for getting out boomerangs every day is just the limit that you actually have in your inventory. There's no limit. All right. Well, it looks like that's all the questions that I see right now. Yep. Looks like that's all the questions that I see right now. So I enjoyed sharing with you all success tips today here, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope, me sharing from my heart definitely has inspired you all to go out here and win big. Hold on one second. Let me see. Okay, there are two more questions here, or three more questions. Okay, I answered that one. Can't answer that one. So a new question just came in. It says, why is there so much emphasis on getting people as ambassadors? I thought it takes two concept. Is one only needed? Two? No. Is one only needed, or two, the rest are I goes? I think I understand the question. This is an opportunity where you can do both. I think I just said it. You can do both, or you can focus on just the customer acquisition. It is whatever it is that you decide that you want to do based on your goals, based on your dreams, based on your desires. Okay. So you can do whichever one you want, or you can do both. I do both, but my focal point is building a large organization. And as a result of building a large organization, I have a large network of customers that I have personally and through my organization. And from just what I teach, this is what I teach, and I've said it already on this call. I used to listen to a BET video soul back in the day. Every day used to come on. And Donnie Simpson was my favorite host. And he would inspire me every day after he finished his segment. And I've always been in athletics. I've always set goals for myself. Even when I was a young kid, my dad instilled that into me, into us as youth growing up. And Donnie Simpson inspired me. He says, whenever setting goals, always shoot for the moon. And if you don't make it, at least you're aligned amongst the stars. And when I finally got in the network marketing industry, all of the companies that I've ever been involved in, they all have been focused on building the network. And then at the same time, you can also build yourself a customer base. Now, those companies really didn't have a customer base because it was all internal consumption. But here in iboomerang, we do have a legitimate customer base. You can actually go out and gather customers and for the long term, make income on that. And then at the same time, you can also gather team members and make money up front on that. So really, what I looked at it from the standpoint of just something that I set for myself as a personal goal is I'm going to go out and build a network and go after people that want to join the company. And if they don't want to join the company, I automatically know they're going to be my customer. Automatically. They're going to be my customer. Because everybody's going to travel. 10 out of 10 people are going to travel. I already know that. So therefore, I never have to go out and sell travel. I never have to go out and sell or convince people on travel. They're going to do it anyway. So I already know that, guess what? They're going to already be my customer. So always shoot for the moon. And if you don't make it, at least you're laying amongst the stars. What that means is go for the big moon. And guess what? There's only one moon. Go for the big moon. There's only one moon. But how many stars are there? Those stars I look at are all my iboomerang customers. So if I don't hit the moon, I got all these customers automatically. So that's my mindset. So hopefully that answers your questions. Let me check and see. Great. Yes. Last question I'll answer is the value of events. I hang my hats on building for events, and missing events are just not an option to have success, long-term success, whether you're trying to build with Boomerang customers or even if you're trying to build, a network of ambassadors. Um, Number one, it builds belief. Somebody asked the question, how do you get belief into people? Well, number one, that is a way that you can get people to believe more, because if you get them to believe more, they'll do more. So get them to the next major event like that's coming up, like Vision 2020, August 21st through the 23rd. You can go to your iboomhub.com, and you can see actually on the front of the page, tickets right now, I think $179. They're going to go up to $199. Eventually, they'll go to $299. If a brand new person is joining the company today at Coach First or Business, Coach Business or First, then they can buy that ticket, that $299 ticket. They can get it for $50. So you always want to get 100% of the team to the next major event. And the saying is, if you go to an event, you're going to learn a lot. But if you get a team of other champions with you, you're going to earn a lot. So you always want to go from event to event to event to event to event without losing enthusiasm. The only reason why you go to an event is to build for the next event. And every time you go to an event, you always want to have more people than you had at the last event. More new personal growth, more new personal sponsorships, more new team members, more new people getting recognized from event to event to event. And that's how you grow your business. The way I look at events, they're like the Oscars, they like the Emmys, they like the Academy Awards. It's all of that combined in one. It's like the NBA championship. It's like the NFL Super Bowl, right? You get your Super Bowl rings. It's all of that combined in one. So much energy, so much excitement, so much inspiration, so much motivation that you couldn't bottle it up and take it back home with you and share it with your team member, because they wouldn't get it. It's like tasting chocolate. You got to be there to taste it for yourself. So that's why building for events is so, so, so important. And sometimes people say, well, I'll make it to the next event. And guess what happens? Unfortunately, they become a cross on the side of the road. They never make it to the next event because they are out of the business. Why? Because they never got plugged in. They never got their battery charged. Person says, well, I don't need my battery charged. That's the person that really needs their battery charged when they say things like that. You always need your battery charged. I mean, you're not going to take one shower, right? You take a shower every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So this is like taking a shower. You just don't get it and then that's it. No, you have to keep going back and keep going back and rehoning in your skills, rehoning in your inspiration, rehoning in your why, rehoning in your goals, rehoning in your dreams, rehoning in your motivation. You have to keep going back and back and back. I never miss events. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I was telling this to my team just the other night on our call that we had. I said, you know what? Events are so important to me that I changed my wedding date twice because an event fell on my wedding date. I already had planned, I already sent out the information, I already paid venues. And guess what? The company says, this is when our next big event is. And I'm like, well, guess we got to change it. So we changed it, had to send all this information to people, let them know, guess what? It hasn't been canceled, just been postponed, right? We're still going to have it, blah, 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 blah. And then 6 months later, we'd already set another date from 6 months out. And guess what? The second event they had, or the next event they had, was on that date. And we had already sent out more information on, hey, now this is the date we're getting married, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? We had to go back and renege on that and say, look, well, guess what? Second thing has happened now. We got an event to go to that we can't miss. So I had to reschedule that. And the third time, guess what? Eventually everything went through, but that's how important events are for me. And that's how important events should be for you. Okay. So it's 5:15, everybody in Georgia. I'm going to be doing the It Takes Two call tonight. So if you have guests, I encourage you, get them on the lines tonight. Get them on the line tonight and let me share with them who we are, what we do, and how we can get them in your business tonight. In Georgia, everybody, this is Emmanuel Bernstein here in Houston, Texas. Signing off for now. We're going to see you at the top. We'll see you at the beach, and we're going to see you at the bank, ladies and gentlemen. Boom.